This is lot one review for CAT 25 paper. So just to help you understand maybe a little bit more in detail than what I did before. A little bit understanding of the paper as such. Been training students for more than 23 years, training for interviews, training for different management exams. So we do have courses for interviews and that snap workshops. Coming to overall, Popal was similar to the previous attempt. So Parajumbles was extra this year in terms of compared to last year. I mean, Parajumbles had stopped coming last year but came in this year. So it's similar. We'll come up with more detailed analysis. But yes, this is just to give you a base. DLR was a difficult. So that means if I look at compared to anything else, all the three sections, I would say verbal cont similar. I don't see major changes. There could be a little bit up and down, but DLR was what was difficult as compared to last year. Last year was comparatively easy. So certainly you go to a difficult paper, people would have panicked. So the slot one, I would expect the DLR cutoff to go down drastically. Slot two, slot three, they would have realized the paper was difficult for DLR, so they should be able to think and manage is what my take as far as DLR is concerned. Because anytime when the paper becomes suddenly tough, there is normally a panic and people are not able to solve it. So in which case the cutoff drastically goes down. So expect a scaling up in the DLR slot in the first section. No matter how difficult it is in slot 2 and slot 3, they are more prepared mentally. So I'm sure slot 2, slot 3 should slightly do better as compared to slot 1 as compared to DLR, even if the paper is difficult. Now coming to in detail more analysis, verbal 4x4 RCs, and no, every year 4 questions, 4 passages, 2 parajumbles, 2 odd man out, 2 fill blank, 2 parajumbles, parasummary, 4 statements as such. More or less similar pattern, there's no major changes. So questions were supposed to be more simpler. No, they were confusing questions, but comparatively not very confusing. The RC topics changed from music instruments, economics, complex system, infinity. So VA was similar difficult level. So no major changes in verbal. So people who have gone to verbal and solved the paper, I think should have done fine, and the cutoffs etc. should be similar. So anyone who's looking at the cutoffs, similar to what I'll come up with a separate set of cutoffs, what it should be or what it can be based on short one, but this is what DLR tougher. DI set was comparatively easy. That's what we have seen in the past also, that DI was comparatively, I'm not saying it's very easy, but comparatively easier than the LR part. For people who are more comfortable with DI, do start with the DI. This others logic was a little more difficult. I mean, it's tricky, difficult, lengthy, what you said. People found it more time consuming as such. So circular arrangement, train occupancy, questions, different type of questions which were there. I'm not getting into details of the questions, doesn't so much matter as such. There was no surprise, something like, oh, this is different. But yes, questions were a little out of the way, so it will become a little difficult. There's no point of going into details of the questions as of now. But to understand that, the strategy would be, let me try and solve one set at a time. So first pick up one set, try to get the answer. Then go to next set, try to get the answer. Since DI was comparatively simple, I would say start with DI. Though it was a little bit more calculative, I heard. Start with DI, get one set in the bag first. Then go. But if you find any set tough, even a DI set if you find tough, please learn to leave. It's very important. No point getting stuck on a tough question, because tough questions could take a longer time. It could be a strategy for DI. Yeah, there was a question on circular arrangement. There was a question on train. I mean, 5 stations and how much percent occupancy which happened. There was questions on yes, no, maybe. Spiderweb was there for DI. So that was slot 1, and that could change for the slot 2. For quant, yes, again, this time arithmetic and algebra were plenty. I mean, more arithmetic than algebra. It's lengthy and calculative. I'm not saying difficult, but it was lengthy and calculative. So people were more relaxed and said, let me just pick up these few easy questions and get it right. I think they did well. People who try to push themselves to solve a lot of questions would have found it a little difficult as such, because they were lengthy questions. So you need to go with the flow of the paper. Also, there was a chance that the questions in the start could be tougher and later on could be easy. So it makes sense to go to the first round as quickly as possible, not wasting time on any questions which you find tough or calculative. Okay. So yeah, there were easy questions you could pick up and as well. It's not that every year there's paper. There were enough questions, but yes, what happens is it's easy to pick up easier questions this year and difficult to maximize a score this year. Calculative, intensive, and other things. So trying to attempt too many difficult. I mean, if you're trying to attempt like maximize the attempts, you could find the paper difficult. Questions were normal. I mean, interest, mixture, ratio, profit loss, work, time for distance, log, inequality, function. There's a question on quadratic maximum is minus b about a rhombus combined with coordinate geometry equation normal. Again, not getting into the question, but yes, quant was fine. I mean, as long as you go with the open mind and try to go with the flow of the paper, that should be perfectly all right. Learn to pick up the easy questions, not get stuck on questions which are tougher. You can always come back to it. So learn to leave questions quickly. That's the key as far as quant paper is concerned, right? Hope this helped me come up with a video with regards to cutoffs, what's expected, etc. Do tune into the channel. Thank you.